reading is really great because there are so many different types of tarot readers and styles that you can choose from. And this is true whether you're a client or a reader yourself. In a lot of ways, your style as a tarot reader says a lot about who you are. It's essentially an extension of your character. So if you're in a place where you're struggling to figure out your personal style, or maybe what kind of reader you want to be, I'm going to go over a few easy places where you can start. Now, I think the first step in deciding really boils down to knowing who you are and what you stand for. Today, so many people are just moving through their lives on autopilot without learning how to connect with themselves on a deeper level. And without that connection, you're always going to feel a little bit lost. One really important thing that's going to help you gain some clarity in this area is really exploring your personal value system. Now, we all have values that are inherent at birth, and we sort of discover them over time as we learn and grow and just live our lives. You know, some people might have values of kindness or honesty or knowledge. Others might have values pertaining to money, control, personal image, things like that. So it makes sense that the type of reader you will be has these values infused into your work. Now, for example, if you have honesty as a core value, you won't sugarcoat what you see in the cards. You might deliver messages in a very straightforward way, while other readers, particularly those invested in values like their public image, might skip over some of this information in an attempt to avoid being seen as the person who always gives the bad news. Personally, I subscribe to the honesty value, so when my clients get a reading from me, they know I will tell them exactly what I see, no matter what comes up. And I will do my absolute best to deliver any and all messages with kindness and a sense of humor if I can. So, as you can see, kind of knowing your value system is really helpful in giving you some direction in creating your style as a tarot reader. Another thing that might be really helpful for you to do is to ask several of your closest friends what your strongest characteristics or traits are. Now, in this case, make sure you pick friends who are trustworthy and can give you a fair and accurate assessment of yourself. What they can say can really help you understand how you come across to others, because that's something we have a difficult time with sometimes. So really try taking the feedback that you're getting from them and incorporate those positive traits into how you connect to others while you're working. Something else that you might want to consider when trying to identify your personal style as a tarot reader is focusing on what is truly special about you. Now, I know some of you are going to get frustrated with me here and try to tell me, oh, there's nothing special about me, or I'm just ordinary. But I guarantee that there is something that's really special and wonderful about you. But the trick is that sometimes these things are just really difficult to figure out or to judge, because we are always our own worst critic. And if you're not sure how to figure out this on your own, this is another situation where you can go to your friends for help. If that is something you don't feel comfortable with, another option is to really explore areas in your life that bring you joy, because within those things, you're going to find some really important information about yourself as well. On the same wavelength, something that I've personally found to be really helpful is having conversations with my clients. Now, the reason behind this is because their feedback is going to be the most informative and valuable, because these are the people who are actually working with me. Now, when I used to read cards in the Bay Area a few times a year, I would always offer my phone number to everyone in case they wanted to get a hold of me sort of in between my trips. Now, this is, of course, obviously something you should be doing anyway because it's a great business practice, and distance is something that can easily be conquered by, a telephone call or a Zoom call these days. On one of my trips, I noticed my regulars complaining that I didn't come to the Bay Area often enough for them, and they were bummed because they wanted to be getting readings more frequently. So I gently reminded them that I had phone readings available, but many of them just really seemed resistant or just totally uninterested by it. The main consensus was that they all just preferred to see me in person. So instead of getting frustrated or upset, I got really curious about it and I started asking them some questions. And I could not have been more surprised by the answer that I kept getting. So the reason that they didn't call basically came down to the fact that they liked being able to just physically watch me read the cards. They like to watch my facial expressions and just to be able to sit in the room with me. For them, it really seemed kind of like it was more about the experience as a whole than it was necessarily about just the information that they were getting. And this was pretty enlightening feedback, since I never really considered my physical presence to be that big of a deal. Like in my mind, I always assumed it was the details I was providing, through the cards that was more important for them. But for my clients, it was actually the other way around. As it turns out, who you are as a person is important to your clients because they not only relate to you on a professional level, but on a personal one as well. So if you give off the vibe of being friendly, caring, empathetic, and genuinely invested in someone else's well-being, it really draws more people to you, which is why the things that are special about you can simply be who you are as a person and the energy that you create during your sessions. Another thing you might want to look at when considering your personal style is your unique talents, gifts, and skills when it comes to your readings. Specifically, what are you doing with your cards? Some people are gifted at being able to provide specific dates and times for events in the future. Other people are well-versed at identifying the emotions and motivations about the people that are being asked about in the reading, which is also really cool. Some people like to laugh and have a good time even when things get serious, just to keep the mood as light as possible. There are also tarot readers who have impeccable communication skills and are able to articulate the card interpretations in a very relatable way. And that ability makes their readings more impactful. Some people are really amazing at holding space, which is definitely a special gift that can be hard to come by. This essentially means, that you're being a witness to your client's experience without sharing relatable stories or trying to give them any advice. And that's why knowing how you work best with the cards will really help you figure out where your true strengths actually lie. Now, the very last thing I would look at if you're trying to figure out your style as a tarot reader is to ask yourself one very important question. Why do you want to read cards? Identifying your purpose can give you some valuable insight into who you are when you show up at the table. So there are some readers like me who do this job because they're passionate about helping and inspiring people. Then there are others who are strictly in it for the money. Some people do it just because it's fun, and other people do it because they want to make, their clients feel empowered or help them take more control back over their lives. Then there are the very brave souls who like to use it to encourage personal growth. This is something I enjoy using the tarot for myself, but if you've ever been schooled or called out by your deck of cards, it's not always a pleasant experience, but it is an incredibly beneficial one if you want to move past, any roadblocks or limiting beliefs that are in your way. So that's why that is particularly hard work if you go into that area. So I really hope that if you're struggling right now to find your identity as a tarot reader, that some of the things that I shared with you today will be helpful for you on your journey. Now, it sometimes takes a while to find your flow, so really try to be patient with yourself and give yourself some grace while you're moving through it. And if you like this video today or you found it helpful in any way, you can give me a little thumbs up and you can subscribe to my channel for more like-minded content. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful day.